we have our top 5 movies of 2021 so far. Yes, it's very exciting. It's a very, very exciting time.
Halfway through the year already. My
I know,
gosh.
hasn't it flown by?
Absolutely. My gosh. We're talking about movies coming back, so it's been a better year for movies. So like at this point, in 2020, gosh, I'd probably have like just like Birds of Prey and like another and like some other small movies that
Yeah,
had like on that would be on my list. But this one I was trying to, put together my list and I was like, actually, I've seen some good movies this year. So I was
right.
excited to put this together.
Let's start off with our fifth best movie of the year. My number 5 pick is Wrong Turn 2021. This is, of course, a reboot slash remake slash just a sequel, kind of prequel. It's a mix of kind of everything of the Wrong Turn horror franchise, which has been a very long running horror franchise. This movie I really loved as a Wrong Turn fan because it gave you all the vibes of the original, from the score to the visuals to the creepy woods to the
Oh yeah.
way the kills were filmed. It was a really great experience to watch, and I highly recommend, if you have seen the Wrong Turn films and you may be weaned off them towards the last few, definitely check this one out. It's much more in line with 1 and 2 than it is with
It's a
one.
good return to form for the franchise, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. What was your fifth best film of the year?
Fifth best film of the year. I can't remember. I got to remember the exact order. I think it was Werewolves Within. So my fifth and fourth were movies that actually, at the time of recording this, I saw last night. And then by the time this comes out, I would recommend going to my YouTube channel because I'm going to do a live stream where we talk about these more in depth. But
Oh, it's down below.
yes, and so so check that out. But like for my number fifth one was Werewolves Within, and it was a great mix of, it's a little like cliche to say, but it was a great mix of horror and comedy, and it's also what I expected. I expected those two aspects, but this also is a really great who done it film. Like you don't know who the werewolf is throughout the film, if there even is a werewolf, what exactly is going on in this small town. And I also like it's kind of cliche, but like horror films that have a small town with a unique cast of characters, memorable people. And this being a comedy, some of the characters were kind of caricatures for, like there's, hippies or a
Yeah.
right-wing couple or whatever. And like they had some really good character actors, some people like that I saw popping up from shows that I had watched that were just really funny character actors. So this was not on my radar before I decided to go to the Circle Cinema here in Tulsa last night, and I was really pleasantly surprised with it too. So yeah, Werewolves Within is a really great film. I'd recommend. It's number 5 on my list.
Nice. So I'll definitely check that out. It sounds like a very good kind of reminiscent film of classic horror in a way, with the kind of campy vibes. Am I right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. And there's some great practical effects as well.
Hmm. Well, speaking of great effects, my number 4 pick is Army of the Dead by the one and only Zack Snyder. This, of course, is available now on Netflix if you would like to watch it. The story revolves around a zombie outbreak that has run rampant in Las Vegas, and it's been walled off. And this group of misfits are sent in to Las Vegas to try and to do this heist. It's a very difficult story to explain, but when you watch it, it makes so much sense and it all just clicks. And everything about the film, for a zombie film as well, is really impressive to me. The zombies are one of the best on screen zombies I've ever seen, both in terms of effects and the way that they've been done, to the fact where you can genuinely tell like these zombies, like characters, apart from one another. That's really impressive. And yeah, I'm just the resident Zack Snyder guy, as you like to say. So
I do, yeah.
obviously it'll
And
be on my list.
I like, it's not on my list. It would be an honorable mention, I guess. I briefly considered putting it on my list, but I had a sneaking suspicion that we'd be talking about it. But I'll say that I really like, obviously, Army of the Dead. It's not on my list because it's a bad movie or anything, or it's not off my list because
Yeah.
it's a bad movie. It's an honorable mention for best of the year so far, for sure. Zack Snyder brings a great kind of style to it. That opening montage
Oh
sequence
yeah.
will be like one of my favorite. I talked last time about favorite moments. It's like one of my favorite like opening montage sequences in recent memory. And then Tig Notaro, the fact that Tig Notaro was not going to be in this film, in that film originally, and then was, she's the thing that has constantly had me thinking about it because she was so funny in it. And I went back, and if you guys haven't seen it, I'd recommend checking out some of Tig Notaro's stand-up comedy. She is a hilarious comedian and just made Army of the Dead that much better. But yeah, it's a great film for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, definitely. What was your number 4?
My number 4 was another one that I saw last night, and we'll be talking about it on my live stream at the YouTube, at the Film Fan Club YouTube channel. Zola. It is the first film that is, you know how some films are based on a true story or based on a book by. This was based on tweets by, you know, this person. So yeah, it's based on a tweet thread that this one girl wrote in like, I can't remember, it was like 2015 or so, a few years back. And it was basically like, you know, like, I'm paraphrasing from the film, but she's like, you want to know how I had a falling out with this bitch? Okay, it's kind of a long story, but then she posted like 150 tweets, like this long ass crazy story about this road trip that she went on with a chick that she barely knew, under the impression that they were going to go, dance at a strip club in Miami and make a lot of money. And I won't spoil it because I really hope that you see it. It's made by A24.
Yeah.
It's made by A24, which is a great distributor. And this and Werewolves Within were both made on a budget of like $5 or $6 million. So it's kind of one of those things where they're kind of restricted in how far out they can go with it. So they really have to focus on story, and the cinematography is really great in this film. It's just a really well done road trip, chaotic, fun. It's kind of what I imagine Spring Breakers, the film Spring Breakers, is like. I haven't seen that, but when people describe it to me, I'm like, oh, that's kind of what this
I really like that. I really like
So if you like Spring Breakers, I haven't seen it yet, but again, this kind of makes me feel like what I imagine that movie is like. It kind of has a little bit of a vibe to that, so I'd recommend you check it out for that reason. Again, it's called Zola, and it had a really great style to it, and I'll constantly be thinking about it for a while.
My number 3 and 2 of the year. Number 3 is Saint Maud, which is a British horror film. Great, very unsettling exploration of just how far some people devote themselves to their religion and how much of themselves they will damage physically and mentally to achieve a greater connection to God.
Wow.
And it has one of the most scarring literally final frames of a movie ever. And if you've seen the movie, you will definitely know what I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh.
I highly recommend it. Really recommend it. And then
that does sound good. Where can I stream it at?
I brought it on YouTube, so I think it's available on YouTube.
Okay.
And then number 2, which was technically a last year release for you guys, but here in the UK it came out in April of this year. Promising Young Woman with Carey Mulligan. I think she was completely robbed at the Oscars and all award season, to be honest, but hey. Great film, so intricately crafted as well. That's what really stood out to me about Promising Young Woman. I believe the director's name is Emerald Finch or Emerald Fitch or something, and this is her first film, and it is incredible. She is so talented. I reckon she has such a big career ahead of her because of this film. Carey Mulligan also delivers one of her best performances she's ever turned in. And you just really have to research a lot about what was kind of the director's intentions behind certain things for this movie. Yeah. You really understand the genius of it, such as things like casting Schmidt from New Girl as one of the biggest assholes of all time.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, no, it won it won Best Original Screenplay or One of the Screenplay Awards at the Oscars, I believe. That was the only thing it won. Yes. And I remember being
Where was the Best Actress win?
Well, she was nominated. You're right. Yeah, she was nominated.
Where was it? Where was Emerald's Oscar?
Yeah, they gave it to Frances McDormand, right? I believe. Yeah, they did.
She got one 2 years ago for a very great film, but she already got one.
No, she's got her. No, I get it.
Had hers is.
I need to see Promising Young Woman, I guess, is where I'm based on hearing you say this. I need to see.
Really great. What were your number 3 and 2 picks?
Number 3 and 2. Briefly, my number 3 was Zack Snyder's Justice League. And number 2 was Judas and the Black Messiah. Judas and the Black Messiah came out here first at Sundance in January. And in a minute I'll talk about Sundance more, but but then it came out on HBO Max in February, and it was the beginning of award season, kind of proper, before, like, when the Golden Globes and I was kind of getting in the mode of watching the Oscar nominated films and stuff like that, and it set the bar high, man. Lakeith Stanfield and Daniel Kaluuya, their performances in this film were so stellar, and the fact that this is a true story, obviously, in a sad story at that, but also an inspiring story. It's just a very multi-layered, just very well done and well told piece of history with great performances and everything. It's just, I think it should be required viewing for people here in the United States, and the subject matter, giving paying light to how the Black Panthers, there's a stereotype of the Black Panthers, I think, like armed, aggressive, a militia or something like that, and this showed a lot of the good that they did and the common humanity that they shared, for like looking out for each other, and how unfortunately they were, yeah, there was active involvement in the government working against that. It was just a very important story to be told, and they told it really well. So that was my number 3, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Number 2 is Judas and the Black Messiah on my list.
Very, very solid choices. My number 1 movie of the year is, I'm sure to everyone's surprise, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Who knew? I did, and you did, and everyone did, because it is the best film of the year, in my opinion. But I understand why it might not be on. I know some people haven't even been necessarily considering it for their lists, in the sense of, is it a 2021 movie?
Right.
Have you seen the movie? Yes, it's a new movie.
Exactly.
It's the 2021 release. This is not Justice League.
Completely agree. Yeah.
Sit down. Put it on your list. Thank you. End of. That's what.
Well, he shot new material. He literally shot new material for this movie in 2021. Like, So, and it's just, and like, there's twice as much material. Yeah, it's a new movie. Anyways, so yeah, I completely agree. I could see why, like, this thing, it's like I skipped over it, like, right on, like, whenever I mentioned, it's third, because I knew we'd be talking about it at number 1 for you. And I totally see why you put it at number 1, because I'm a huge, genre movie fan. I love comic book movies and sci-fi and stuff like that. And this is pretty much as epic as it gets when it comes to that sort of thing. Also, I like Man of Steel and the Ultimate Edition of Batman versus Superman quite a bit. So to see the culmination of that trilogy told in all its glory by Zack Snyder, the way he wants to tell it, it was pretty much everything I wanted it to be. And I know we've talked about it at length on both of our channels, so I won't harp on it too much. But yeah, it was a great film, but I think it totally qualifies as being a new movie for 2021.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, the same people who aren't including it on their list included things like Titanic's 20th year anniversary on their list,
right?
Or like Blade Runner's 20th. Anyway, moving on. What was your
number 1 for me? Yeah. So I got to do number 1 for. Well, I saw this at Sundance, and it was called Mass, and it's got Jason Isaacs, who played Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter movies. And the movie is about 2 sets of grieving parents at opposite ends of a tragedy. One parent, or one set of the parents is their kid died in a school shooting. The other set of parents were the parents of the kid who did it and then killed himself. And they come together at this, in a church to just talk, and talk through their complicated feelings about what happened. And the movie is set like in a room with just 4 people for like 90 minutes talking. And so everybody, I said it in my review on the Film Fan Club show, everybody has to be giving like like working at their best. The director has to be like at his A game and making it interesting and making sure the actors are giving great performances. The actors have to be giving stellar performances. The cinematographer has to be like making just literally a room interesting. So like, it is such a well-made film, and the subject matter is so tense, but so, also really really interesting and well written, that like it was so. I saw this in January, and I haven't seen a film that's topped it yet.
Well, that's definitely a good film then. It sounds very heavy.
Yeah, it
Very
is
heavy.
so heavy. Yeah, like I can turn on Zack Snyder's Justice League anytime and have fun with it. You cannot do
Yeah,
it with
I kind of
this.
feel bad for having that as my number one film, and then you come out with that for yours.
Oh no! Like no, no. I love Zack Snyder's Justice League. You know what I mean? But like, it's not about like two grieving sets of grieving
Yeah.
parents after a school shooting. You know what I mean? It's just different topic matter. So I could totally see, yeah, why someone wouldn't want. That sounds like great, you know, Sam. But I'm not going to watch it. I totally understand. Hey there, thanks for checking out this clip from the Let's Chat Movies podcast. I'm Sam Carrico, and I just wanted to say thanks to Lucas for inviting me to come on and talk with him about the best movies so far of 2021. If you like what I have to say, make sure you head on over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Film Fan Club. There's a new season coming of the Film Fan Club show. It'll premiere in September, so make sure you're subscribed.